What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to Trailblazers Radio. I am your host, Mr. Frederick Beaty. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight, man. You guys could have been anywhere else, but you guys are right here with us, and we are most definitely appreciate that. We also appreciate everyone that's following us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, on LinkedIn. We thank you guys for following us there. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to our content. We got more. We got great content coming your way. So make sure you keep your eyes and your ears on the ground for that. And also follow us on anywhere you get your streaming audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Caster FM, iHeartRadio, not Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. We're anywhere you get your streaming platforms. We most definitely want you to like and follow us there. And we most definitely want to thank our listeners and our viewers, because without you guys, we wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't be here. Well, I also got to give thanks to the Most High God, because without Him, none of us would exist. None of this would be possible, and we all would not exist. So, with that being said, I am very, very excited and I'm very excited to have these two people in front of me right now. One of the young lady that's here with us tonight is somebody that I've known for quite some time, and she has a great platform that she's working on, and she wants to she came on my platform specifically to talk about it. So gonna give her all the time and all the space to talk about it. And she also has a son here who's also on the where boots on the ground with this platform as well. So we're gonna give them all the time to talk about this platform and how important it is and the relevance of it. So first and foremost, before we even go any further, I want to introduce you guys. Well, I want to introduce the son to most, but reintroduce to others who haven't seen this young lady before. First of all, I have Miss Auradis Corey here, and I also have her son, Mr. Joshua Worsley here as well. They are the founder and CEO, respectively, of the Freedom Training Center. Um, First and foremost, guys, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. And welcome. Thank you for coming on. Welcome.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys coming on tonight, man. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about this, man. So if you guys don't mind, I want to kind of just jump right into this, if you guys don't mind. So first, Aradis, I know we've known each other for a while, through our connection in Primerica, but tell everybody in our listening and viewing audience just a little bit about yourself. Not, you don't have to be too wordy or too extravagant, but just a small snippet of who you are.
Thank you. And oh my goodness, I'm so glad to be here on this broadcast with Frederick Beaty. And I'm just excited. And if I was going to say anything about myself, it would be I love the Lord first. And the next thing is I love people. And right now I am learning more and more and more about myself. I've had a lot of deaths around me lately. But guess what? I am ready to birth the Freedom Training Center. I'm all excited. It feels like I've been revived. I'm not grieving as much as I was before. And I'm going to stop right there because I get all excited. Yes,
That's what's
yes,
up. That's
yes.
what's up. So, Joshua, you're the CEO of this endeavor with your mom. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Before I do that, if you don't mind, I'll take a few minutes and tell a little bit more about Miss Corey, just because there's things that I think the audience need to know, some background information. So obviously, we're going to dive into Freedom Training Center, but I'll just share this piece. This isn't something that she just came up with over the last 5 to 10 years. As a youth, as an adolescent, a toddler even, I remember my mom always having other people at heart. She had 6 children. I'm the youngest of 6. And there were still other people, other young women and men or children, boys and girls, that she was trying to pour into their life in some way, you know. And I'm not talking about the areas where there were always people there willing to help. She went to the areas that there weren't anyone there to offer a helping hand, you know. So this thing is near and dear to her heart. She's been working on it, I know, for 35 plus years. So we're very fortunate to be at this stake in the road of this this endeavor. So that I wanted to share that piece. When we get into the Freedom Training Center, you'll understand a lot more what I mean by, you know, 35 plus years of trying to birth this baby of freedom that she's been trying to birth. So I had to share that. Hey. She didn't even touch it at all. So, but anyway, I'm Joshua Worsley, resident of Pitt County. I was born right here in Pitt County. I did a little bit of growing up I did a little bit of growing up in Florida. My father went there after some time, and family of 6. I have 4 children. I have a couple of small businesses, and how my mother and I linked together in this project is I saw a need. I've got a background in psychology, and I saw a need that is immensely it's underpopulated. There's not a lot of people that are trying to help fill or bridge this gap of poverty and you know, discovering who you are through Freedom Training Center. So what I found is I had been chasing this fulfillment for a long time, and I finally reached a point where I said, hey, it's time for me to start doing this thing that will bring me the fulfillment that I'm looking for. And after talking with my mom, we discovered that my entire dream was encapsulated in Freedom Training Center. And so I said, absolutely, I would gladly be a part of a Freedom Training Center, hence CEO.
That's what's up, man. I love it. I love it. So, and I know when me and Auradis have talked a lot over the last couple of weeks now about this, and we've shared some nuggets of wisdom between each other. And that's what drew me to even want to talk more about this. So, Auradis, what vision, what inspired you to become pregnant with this vision or this entity that you have, and how are you preparing for this birth?
Wow, that's a big question. Well, at the very, very beginning, I guess my son talked about that. I didn't realize, but I was in a church where there were a lot of youth, and we had a choir, and we had all kinds of, you know, things to do, drama and all that. But we needed a little more expertise. And some of the people involved, children and adults, you know, kind of had a drawback. They kind of didn't want to, they had talents and gifts and all that, but to really bring it out, I felt like we needed some professionals. And so my husband and I at that time developed a summer program, a 6-week summer program, you know, where the kids would just come every day, just like you would school, in the morning, get off in the evening when the parents get off work. The only stipulation was the parent had to spend time in the summer program as well. Fast forwarding, we hired a professional dancer, a professional singer, you know, we even had sports, and the kids actually learn about the inner them. What did they really want? They learned to push forward. And so at the end of the program, we had a concert. Oh. And 6-week concert where they exhibited all their talents. And the good part about it, the thing that was really, really good about it, the parents said they learned more than the kids. So that was just amazing. There were character change, you know, in the home, as well as in the program. And when my husband was sick at the time, he had dementia. And you asked me what inspired me. To be honest, when the Lord put that in my spirit, my husband had passed, and he told me to make this little card. And the card was a business card, Freedom Training Center. And he said the summer program is the mini, MINI, model for this business, not a church, not a program, but business. And I thought, no way, I can't do this. Oh no, definitely can't do it without my husband. He had already passed at that time. And, but it just I kept feeling it. I kept seeing it. I kept writing notes. The notes kept coming alive. And the Lord gave me a date, December 2nd. And I thought, oh man, I can't do this.
Right.
I said, no way I can do it. And guess what? It's a franchise.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, oh my God, Lord, this is just too big for me. And I heard him say, you're absolutely right. But through you, I'm gonna bring forth this business.
That's it.
And as I begin to work it, freedom is the center of everything. And I tell you what, since all of this has happened to me, I'm telling you, grief, my mom, my husband, my pastor, and one of my best friends, and then others that I know have transitioned on. But freedom is what it's all about. And so I'm going to hush right there. But I tell you what, that the Lord actually gave it to me. And I now feel like I am birthing this thing. It's bigger than me. It's full of life. And I'm excited about it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I know, Joshua, you're her CEO. So, when she told you about this and she told you, the enormity of it, where was your mindset at the time when she told you about this thing and then the enormity, and then you kind of looked at the enormity of it with her?
Yeah, so initially, when she shared it with me, and I'm going to tell a little bit of backstory to it. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I realize where my source comes from, right? Obviously it comes from God, but my mother brought me up in the church. So I knew that if I couldn't get to church, if I could get to her, it was like getting to church, you know what I mean? So I shared with her a lot of things that I thought and ideas that I had. And one of them was essentially kind of like a foundation, something that we could help build, something that could be built from, and we looked at a lot of ideas, and we came up, I shared with her my vision, and then she shared with me hers. And it was literally like, I was the natural birth of her vision. So, but when she shared it with me, I immediately realized that I hadn't talked about my vision because it was so big. It was a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, and I hadn't talked about it because it was so big. And then she sent me she told me hers. And I says, hey, jump in the car with me, meet me in town. We're going to go look at a building. And we went and looked at this building. It was the old Sears in Greenville. And this thing was huge. And she says, this isn't big enough. Okay, we're on to something, but I was fearful as well. But fortunately, I was aware of if something isn't worth working for, it ain't worth having, and if it doesn't scare you half to death, 9 times out of 10, it's a whim, and we want something that's more tied to like Psalms, planted by a tree, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when she shared it with me, I was challenged for sure. And there was times where she had to carry me, where she said, this is what God gave me. I can't turn away from it. So I was definitely, I was fearful, but I realized that everything that I had been dreaming about and wanting to do in life was again encapsulated in Freedom Training Center. So I immediately knew that it was a calling that had been on her life forever, and I just discovered that was on my life. And again, serial entrepreneur. So there's a lot of resources that I had discovered and learned, and realized immediately that I know why now. I discovered all those resources, and it was to help birth this baby.
Man, I love that. I love that. And one thing that you mentioned, already, is that when it's hard to navigate or focus on what you're trying to do, especially when you're dealing with the entity of loss. You know, it makes it very hard to kind of focus on what you're doing, because you on the one hand you have a grieving process to deal with, but then on the other hand you got this, you're pregnant with this vision and this thing that you're about to give birth to, and it's like, well, what am I going to do? Do I grieve now or do I grieve later? And even with me, it was difficult to kind of birth this, and I'm still in a grieving process. So, and you mentioned that. How did you find that? How was it? The question I want to ask, how did you find the balance in that between the losses that you took and then still having the energy and the fervor to give birth to this?
Well, you know what, that's again a good question, and it probably could take up a couple of days. but the real thing is, for me, my life belongs to God. And even during the process, I spent 7 years with my husband, as a caregiver. We, helping him and all that. That's a whole story. Mm-hmm. But even through that, the things that I learned in church, Sunday school and Bible study and revivals, and, just absorbing the word of God, I'm telling you, it came alive. When trials started, and that was, to me, that wasn't even a trial. The words that we speak, I'm telling you, there's a difference when it comes alive. Anyway, Holy Spirit became real to me. I kept a journal. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to publish that journaling into a book. And Holy Spirit came. And I could hear him. First, he taught me how to really know that it was him speaking. And it was like intervals. So by the time my husband transitioned on, I knew that the old folks say, I knew that I know that I know that I know that God was with me. And no matter what, he was ordering my steps. No matter what, he had my back. And I mean, he just proved it during that time. And so then when that was an easier transition, because I watched my husband die slowly over the 7 years.
Right.
But when my mom died, even though she was over 80, I wasn't expecting death for some reason. I called her in for breakfast and she didn't come. And so grief really set in after that. I mean, I could say, like I said, it's a long story. But then the person that was my friend, my commandant, my pastor, she listened to me. She believed in me. Matter of fact, she was there during the summer program. She was like the armor bearer. Instead of me being the armor bearer, she was the armor bearer for that summer program. Okay.
She was also our godmother.
She's been with me forever.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And she passed like that, and unexpectedly. And I'm telling you, grief is no joke, but it is no match for the God that I serve. I represent the fact that God is alive. And so when all throughout this grieving process, I know you know, but I had a business. I was in Primerica, and they're very lively, and you always meeting people. It carried me through the grief process. Now, what you said about freedom training, it feels like, and I know some of the ladies, maybe some of the men can understand this. It actually feels like I'm about to have a baby. I mean, without the, and the morning sickness and all, it feels like God actually gave me this baby. I got a Jesus baby. Do you know that grief have nothing over on my baby? And then my baby's first name is Freedom.
Yes, indeed.
Free to live, free to laugh, free from grief, free from the mind thing. Oh my good. Yeah,
See?
I'm a hush because I'm about to get happy. I love the Lord and he loves me. And I gotta tell you, when I realized that I was actually birthing something of God, it pushes me. I've never felt so much joy in my whole life. When you have about to have a baby, even though it hurts, and I go through a lot to get this done, but it's a joy. It's an inner joy that you can't, full of love, full of passion. Oh my goodness. I'm a hush right there. I tell you, it could take 2 days. But yes, it is pushing me. It is pushing me. And the Lord spoke to me one day. I was having one of them ups and downs and grief.
Yeah.
And the Lord said, go to the ballroom. So I went in, meditated, went to the ballroom where we're going to have the event. And he said, look around. And I could imagine it. And it's beautiful in there. And he said, you're my Cinderella.
Ooh,
and I was
that's
like,
good right there. That's good right there.
How would that encourage you? How can grief come through that? A new baby and it's birth into the world.
That's good right there. That's so good right there. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna tell look here, people that's listening and watching us right now. Look, if you're going through something like that, and and I understand that it's hard.
It is hard
because eventually we all will experience that. If you haven't experienced that, then you will. But understand that while you're going through that grieving time and that grieving moment, understand that those are your birthing pains. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Those are the times where anybody who's any woman who had a baby and any man who's been in the birth and been in the delivery room with that woman, if it's a natural childbirth, all you hear is that. You hear that midwife say push. Those are the birthing pains that's coming through, and then the doctor tells you, wait, then push again, and you keep pushing, and then you keep pushing until that baby comes into this world, and then you are able to bond and expose, and you're able to bond with that child and give all the love that you have in you since you were pregnant with it. So grief and trepidation, all those are your birthing pains. Be prepared when they come and think and be like, look, I don't know what this is. I can't deal with it. No, those are your birthing pains because they're coming and they're gonna come they're gonna come like just like your contractions. They're gonna come. They're gonna come. They're not gonna come. They're gonna come. Yeah, they're like your contractions. They're gonna come slowly at first, but then they're gonna intensify. And then they're going to intensify. Then they're going to intensify. Then they're going to keep intensifying. And all next thing you know, my water's broke. Gotta go to the hospital. Gotta give birth to this baby. And that's when the real process of the birthing begins. Because As a woman, you carry this child you carry this baby for 9 months. For a visionary, you carry this vision for so long, and now you're pregnant and you're walking with it. You're waddling, you're walking funny, you're holding it, you're holding your stomach, you're watching, you're listening, you hearing this baby kick, and you listen and all this good stuff. And now it's come time to get a birth. It's gonna hurt. Be prepared for that because it is gonna hurt. But at the end of the birthing process, that vision will most definitely come to fruition.
Wow.
But you have to stay the course.
You don't really have a choice. You don't really have a choice. Look, I'm listening to you, and now I understand why I had to bring my son in here. Because when that baby is born, that's when the work really begins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the person that's going to be in the birthing room with you. He's going to be the one that's going to say, push, you got this. Keep going. You're almost there. You're almost there. You're almost at that that expected end. This baby is about to come. I can see the head coming. Come on. Just push a little bit more. You got this. One last push. Push him out. Next thing you know, you're gonna hear that baby crying. And then it's going to be like, oh, my God, this vision I've been holding on for so long is finally here.
Well,
now I got to feed it and nurture it.
This is really the introduction. This is letting everybody know that freedom is coming. So all that stuff you're talking about right now is to come.
Hey, so this is the baby shower right here.
But it's soon to come.
It's soon to come. It won't be long now.
This is the baby shower. This is the baby shower.
Right here. This is the baby shower.
What an analogy!
You already in your third trimester. Yeah. You already in your third trimester.
Well, I did want to add something, Frederick, real quick, because my mother kind of skipped over this, and I'm a listener. So you asked her how does she balance continue to push through with all the grief and the death around her, and she mentioned Primerica. She mentioned a couple other things, but in particular, she sought out ways to give life to other people. That's what brought her into Primerica, because Primerica was all about preparation for when you get older. It was all about the pre-prep for when you're young, how to stage your life for when you get older, and then what to do with it once you got older, But that was the real reason. And honestly, she circled back around to me and grabbed me by the collar, and she says, "Hey, you're not going through what I went through, And that almost brings tears to my eyes, because that was why I think that's what took her through, because her purpose was to go and find people that would potentially go through what she went through and prevent them from going through it. You know what I mean? Right. So you're talking financially, you're talking spiritually, emotionally, mentally. Obviously, Primerica was financially, but Freedom Training Center was the inner me. Freedom Training Center was the mental mindset, was the emotional mindset, the physical with the sports, So I really feel like how, in my opinion, if I had to dictate or depict how my mother went through or made it through all that stuff, is because she literally tried to prevent other people from going through it. And I think it enabled her to see life with a different set of lenses. Because as I went through kind of the caregiving spiel as well in psychology, and normally, she and I talk about this all the time. Normally, the caregiver is the one that doesn't make it.
Right.
And she made it. She didn't mention the great grandfather or the great grandmother that she took care of before the people that she just named. So I honestly really feel like that's how she made it through, was by giving life to other people while life was being taken, around her.
Yes.
Man, that's a blessing to kind of realize in the moment, to realize what you're doing in the moment of that, in the moment, and to just, I honestly think that's a selfless action.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's a selfless moment to realize that I'm
Yeah.
giving life to people who, or I'm putting myself in a position to where I'm going to go through this, so nobody else has to deal with that. No one else has to endure that. No one else has to go through that pain, and that is number one. That's admirable. Plus, that's selfless, and I salute you. I salute you, Auradis, for that, because it takes a strong person to go through that and still come out on top. Because that's a fire all in and of itself, and you came out of it not smelling like smoke. So hats off to you.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness,
So
this is so good. Yes.
let's get into Freedom Training Center. Let's talk about that. So first and foremost, what is Freedom Training Center?
Freedom Training Center is a fitness center for the mind, the body, and the spirit. Okay, that's as close to a nutshell as I can. Okay. Freedom Training Center is where a person realizes where their true freedom is at. And where's your freedom at? It's what you love to do. That means no chains, nothing, everything free around you, where you can speak freely, you can express freely, you can do the thing that you were born to do. In my case, that's talking. Okay. You don't have to go to school to get it, because you already got it and you enjoy doing it. And so we offer performing arts, music, voice, dance, and then sports. Okay. And then we have a talking academy, which is more like leadership and public speaking, like the Toastmaster, so you can learn how to freely express yourself. See, Leadership Academy. And then there's a few people that really need job readiness. Okay. They may want to break loose from the mediocre and get something above average. They may want to just go to another level. But first, you got to know who you are, and your inner me is where freedom starts. It starts in your thought. And so everything we do is an experience, and you'll learn skills. We're looking for professionals to lead the people, and I'm gonna hush right there because I'll go on and on and on. I'm excited about freedom. Freedom.
Come on, well,
Yes,
I was gonna let you continue. Yeah, I know, but I know Joshua can expound a lot more on that too. So, if you want to, Joshua, go ahead and expound on that some more.
Absolutely. So I think, and my mother and I have been talking about this moment right here for a while, and how do you share it in such a short time, and I think honestly I couldn't have done it any better justice. To find out more, you just got to attend the event. December 2nd and 3rd, you just got to come and see. We're gonna give you a cliffhanger right there, because if we give it all to you now,
there you go.
You might not show up. So we got to leave it there. But I will tell you, oh my gosh. So just talking about, learning who you are. So this thing is going to really help you birth, who you are,
exactly,
what you want out of life, and then how to get it. And most importantly, a place, a facility to freely express that.
Exactly.
Because there's so much criticism, there's so much media, there's so much, so much status quo, so many things that are telling young people of all races, older people of all races, that you can't be who you want to be because you need to be like this to fit this category, you know? And so that's why training is so important, because not only are we going to help you unfold and blossom into the person that you want to be, but then we're going to help, you know, cultivate that person. And then we're going to help send that person out so that they can live the life they want to live after they discovered who they want to be, how to become that person. And then we're going to sharpen those talents and skills and gifts so that you can go out and actually put them to good use and reap the benefit of being who you want to be. You know, no hose bar, you know, you don't have to. So anyway, I'm like her. It's like,
it's a
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, you know, and I really feel all communities need this. This is why she said it's a franchise. It's not a franchise like McDonald's that we just want to, you know, give you a system to go make money and get to the right side of the quadrant.
Oh man, look.
It's not about quadrants right here. You know?
It goes on and on. Listen, I want you to know too that all people are welcome. And there is an assessment that you go through to find out what you really want and what you really need. And then you can go through the process. And somebody said, well, music, singing, dancing, I'm not, none of that. But guess what? It'll be a fun place, and it'll give you an atmosphere. People are there that love you. People are there that's willing to show you. And guess what? I had a grandson. He's about 22 now. He used to say, Grandma, do I have to do this? and really. And he didn't want it. He was like, I don't want to. It was the music is all different kinds of instruments, right? And so we wanted him to play keyboard. He wanted to play drums. You know? So long story short, the young man plays keyboard now like nobody's business.
Yeah.
He did not know. So the potential that's in you will come out.
Yeah.
And once you get free from all the different things that's hacking at you, then you can hear yourself. Then you'll understand. It's not what I want or anybody else, like my son said, but what is actually going on in you. The things that's positive, we'll keep. The things that's negative, we'll learn how to throw it away. PMA, positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a lot. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're going to enjoy
I love
it.
it. Man, I love that.
Yeah.
I so love that. And the one thing that you mentioned was community. And and just going to be very blunt with this here, because I think it needs to be said. We're talking about like impact on a community. And then we're also talking about an institution that hasn't necessarily made an impact in our community for quite some time. And I think we all know what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to mince words with that, because I have mentioned that before. And we also look at what's going on around us. You know, senseless deaths of people, you know, rampant poverty, things, and all the social things that we all deal with. You know, and we could go pretty much another hour or so talking about social issues and things of that nature, but we won't. But when you look at the totality of all the social issues that are here, that compound and plague a community, where do you see Freedom Training Center in that? I won't call it a battle, because it's not necessarily a battle, but it is a conflict as when it comes to winning over people in the community. Where do you see Freedom Training Center in that conflict when it comes to winning over hearts and minds?
I'd like to share that one if you don't mind, Ms. Corey.
Okay.
Well, where I see Freedom Training Center in that regard is right in the center of it all. I see Freedom Training Center right in the center of it all, bringing unity, bringing the awareness that if we were all confident in who we are and what we want and how to go about getting it, the focus might change. Yeah. You know, the focus on climbing to the top while, you know, trampling over others might actually cease once we realize that it takes others to get there. So from you know, again, all race, all demographic, geographics, I think at some point it's going to build some, and it's going to bring awareness to others, and we'll be able to build a place, a platform, a facility that those things aren't the center of the attention. It's more so how we can better ourselves. Because think about it, right? When you're a leader, the strongest leader spends most of the time focusing on building themselves, you know, and then once you build yourself, right, you're able to build others, not because you've learned everyone else, but you've learned how you need to conduct yourself to help and meet other people where they are, you know. So I really see Freedom Training Center being right smack in the middle of it all, saying, hey, there's an alternative. There's an alternative, and it's how about you focus on you, you know, the inner me, freedom. How about focusing on freeing yourself? You don't have to worry about trying to suppress, you know, your neighbor, your friend, or anyone like that. So I think, like you said, Frederick, without saying too extremely much, I think that sums up where I see Freedom Training Center in the center of it all, bringing unity.
Right.
Well, you know
Smack
what?
dab in the middle of the fray.
Right, dead in the middle. But listen to this. When I'll use Josh, when he gets himself together and he go inside of his mind and his heart and his own mind, and what happens at home, he's got a wife, he's got twins, he's got teenagers. Now he's going to impart and impact their lives. So the Freedom Training Center brings families together. And if nothing else, just like a regular fitness center, if Josh brings his family there, they're doing this together. That alone will have an impact in the family. And, you know, and I totally agree with everything you said. Sometimes we're focused on the news is good, but we can't focus on what they're saying. You know, sometimes, like with me, I have people around me that love me, that want me to minister or say something or listen to them. That stuff gets heavy. You need a place to go. And I call that a place called there. And it's really inside of you. And if you got God up in there with you, hey, you coming out. Then you coming out strong. Yes.
Yes, indeed. You know, I love that. I love the answer that both of y'all gave, because it's, you know, number one is you guys are on the same wavelength, number one. And number two, it's just indicative of what your vision is, something that truly just transcends racial and cultural borders. I mean, I've said this on more than one occasion, and that we need to kind of jump out of that type of stuff. It's cool to embrace culture, our culture and our heritage and things of that nature, but when are we going to start being able to start understanding other people?
Yeah,
other races and other cultures of people, because no matter what, regardless if you're Black, you're Asian, you're Italian, you're Chinese, whatever, at the end of the day, we all bleed. Our blood is red. Our blood is red when you cut us. We all have emotions, we all have feelings, and we all have We all have spirits and we all have souls. So why not, instead of just kind of just separating that, why not just speak to the totality of the spirit and the soul of the person, and look beyond that. I'm truly impressed with that, because I mean, there have been entities who have expressed things like that, but it never comes out in its execution.
Yeah.
Because maybe people get tunnel vision, or they're blinded by seeing things that happen, that go on in their community. So the one question I did want, and it poses a question to me: how are you guys going to keep to the vision and not become blinded, or not become affected by what goes on on to the left, to the right, or to the rear or front of you?
I want to take this one too. Miss Corey, I want to be respectful. Would you like to take that one?
No, I'm gonna piggyback. You can't shut me up. I'm a piggyback.
Good deal. Well, I'm so glad. So glad you asked that question, because I was almost to tears. I don't know if you guys saw, my face started wrinkling up, and I thought of two things. One thing was, I think the reason why I feel we will be able to hold to this vision is one main reason in particular. A lot of people chase money because they've never had it. But if they had it,
oh my God,
they realize the fulfillment of money never gets you where you're trying to go. It never gets you there. And as an entrepreneur, I always said, if I hit X amount of dollars, I won't share numbers, but if I hit X amount of dollars, oh man, my life will be great. All my problems are gone. Well, I've hit X amount of dollars, X amount of times, and those problems never went away. So then I began to find out, right? They never went away. So then I begin to find out what takes the problems away. And until you can learn to give more than you receive, your problems will always be bigger than everyone else's problems, right? And I learned that from my mom. I learned that from church. I learned that from books and, everything else. But here was something that was huge. When you talked about the focus of the people and putting aside all outside influences and distractions, here's one thing that remains the same with every single person that walks this earth, is that we all have our internal battles. And I mean, they're so bad to the point where you can call them internal demons that we face every single day. Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing that brings us together. That's the one thing that we all have in common. I mean, you can look at the richest person. You say, hey, what are your insecurities? You can go to the gutter and you ask that person, hey, what are your insecurities? And I guarantee you, they both have something very, very, very similar and very in common. And I think if we could start looking at a way to, because that's what we chase. That's what we chase every day. We chase the fulfillment to surpass our insecurities, the things that make us unhappy with our lives, ourselves, our spouses, our children. That's what we're chasing, So anyway, I know that was off topic, but I couldn't let that one go because that one almost brought me to tears. But I think that's the thing that's going to keep Freedom Training Center at its core values, is the fact that everyone that walks this earth that has 2 feet, and I'm almost sure if they got more than 2 feet or less than 2 feet, they probably have, insecurities, those things that make them not happy with where and who they are. And I think that's the real purpose behind Freedom Training Center. And then secondly, it's the money piece. A lot of people get something going, and then they see the lucrative side of it and they start chasing that and forget about the core values. And I think Miss Corey, just by age, just by experience in life, she's reached that point. Not saying she hasn't made a lot of money in her life, but I think she's reached that point where money isn't the thing that's gonna, in fact, if you study the principles of money at her age, she's supposed to give up. She's supposed to give up, when it comes to trying to make money.
Wow.
So what is her drive at that point? What is her drive now? And at my age, I'm at the peak of it. I'm supposed to be chasing nothing but money, according to status quo. But fortunately, I've had a little bit of success with a little bit of money, and I realized, man, that didn't change nothing. it didn't change anything. If anything, it made me more hungry to get further in debt, So I'm
Exactly.
finding out,
Exactly.
finding out that the fulfillment comes in giving, and then the foundation to giving is realizing that all is in need. So yeah.
Well, I just happen to believe, and yes, I can agree with what you said, but I just happen to believe that the thing that's going to keep not just Freedom Training Center, but everything that's happening and everything everywhere, the biggest thing and the one thing is love.
Oh yeah.
Love is going to
Love.
keep it. And the other thing that comes to my mind is this. Same thing Josh said too. But if you have one person to take a stand, they can come against how many people? Oh, so
Oh,
just picture this, a room full of negativism. Picture that as darkness. And one person come in that room with a big bucket of positivity and love.
uh,
That's the light.
uh, uh,
All
uh.
that darkness can't stand. And I just believe that if we can get to the families, the families come together, the communities would change. I believe even churches would change. Some of the church groups that have choirs can come through there, bring the whole choir through the Freedom Training Center and come out with soprano, alto, and bass and a lovely heart full of love. See, the atmosphere is going to cause, I can see Freedom Training Center in different cities, and it's like a light that shineth on the hill. I mean, I'm just saying, that's how I feel. We talking about freedom, being totally
See,
free. Come on. It's going to stand.
see, look at that.
It's going to
That's
stand.
that's more than just a community. That's more than just a community mission. That is a
Right.
that is a
Exactly.
city. That's a state mission.
Come on.
That's a country mission. That's
It's
more
going
than
to
just a
stand.
community mission. I mean, like you said, when you get the families together, I think, and like you said, that's what's going to bring the communities together.
Yeah.
You reconnect the families. You know, you give them a you give them a sense of value, sense of worth. You let them know that hey, your contribution to your home is important. Your contribution to
Right.
yourselves are important. You know, your
Right.
contribution to your community is important, and you
Right.
give them that sense of pride in who they are. First of all, who they are as people, then who they are
Right.
as husband and wife, who they are as children, and then who they are in their community, in the greater sense, in the greater concept of community.
Exactly.
I think that's gonna be the thing where their whole land is gonna be healed. You know, and it
Wow.
starts, and the way the how I like how you guys are targeting it. The way you guys are targeting, you're looking at the individual first, and
Mm.
you work from the inside. You work from the inside out, and I
Right.
love that because a lot of people want to work on somebody from the outside in, and that's the wrong approach to it. Why would you want to change the exterior of a person when the person is battling on the inside? And I love that. I love the way how y'all are approaching this with taking care of the total person. You know, not only in the emotional sense, but also in the mental sense, in the psychological sense, in the social sense, and also how they approach life, how they approach their own personal situations, how they interact with people, how they interact with the people in their home, husband, wife, children, how they
Mm.
interact with people in their community, whether it's a church community or whether it's the community outside of the four walls of either a church or their home. That is huge. That is huge. That's big. And when I say big, I mean Rosetta Stone big. That's gonna make a lot of impact for man. I can see how this is gonna go when this thing is finally and when it's finally in place. It's gonna take off and it's gonna just. I can see lives being changed. I can see people being impacted for the better. I can see communities bonding and becoming better communities. You know,
Right.
not only from the church house, but also in the house where the parents and the kids as well. And then I can see better interaction between people within the communities. Man, that's like I said, that's more than just big. That's Rosetta Stone big, and that's saying a whole lot because what you guys have taken or what you guys are taking on is, first of all, it's some people will say that it's tiring, arduous, possibly thankless. Well, I'll take that. I won't say possibly thankless. I'll say more than likely will be thankless.
Yep.
And those are three. What you guys are taking on is what some people will call a massive undertaking, and they're gonna be. And I'm gonna say this right now because, and I'm pretty sure y'all have already seen this and heard this already before. I'm pretty sure there are people out there that look at your concept, that look at your vision, and they look at that and be like, that ain't gonna work. That won't come to pass. That won't come to fruition. And there are people that's probably that said negative stuff about it. It won't work. That concept won't work here. But I'm gonna say this to y'all. Hold fast to the vision. Hold fast to the birthing that you guys are about to have, because the minute that vision comes to fruition, and the minute you guys birth out this vision and this baby, a lot of people are going to be impacted. A lot of people were going to be affected. A lot of people will be grateful for this, to be in, to share the space, to be in the space, to be able to have their lives turned around for the betterment of not only themselves, but for the betterment of the people that they're connected to. And you guys are going to have people that are going to connect to you, that are going to be able to, that are going to bless you like never before. They're going to see the vision in it. They're going to see the impact that's going to bring, and they're going to want to come close to you and gravitate towards you and say, "Look, how can I come up? How can I get on board with you? How can I contribute to this? How can I contribute to this entity? I see what's going to happen. What can I do to contribute to it? How can I help you? What can I do to help you?" And these people are not going to look for anything monetary in return. They're just going to want to pour out their heart and their resources to you. And all those people who are speaking the negative stuff, those are going to be the people that's going to need that. Those are people that are going to be impacted the most from what you guys are doing, because they're the ones that need the most help.
Yeah.
I see that for y'all, man. I mean, the more me and Auradis have talked about it, the more I've seen it. I see this come to pass or come to fruition, because now more than ever we need that type of thing. We need that type of thing inserted in our communities.
Right.
We've gone away from love, and we've gone away from the love and the care for our fellow man. We've gone away from all of that, and we embrace money, materialism. Kids are looking at music and sports people as role models and idols and things of that nature. And I'm gonna say this, and I heard this from this podcast called I Am Athlete, and it was Deion Sanders that was on it. They were talking to Brandon Marshall and Fred Taylor and the rest of them. He said this one thing and it resonated with me. You got models out here that are just playing roles. Let that sink in for a minute. Mm-hmm. You got people out here that are supposed to be role models, but they really just playing a role. They're not impacting, they're not affecting, they're not imparting, they're not speaking into, they're not pulling somebody up under their wing and say, hey, look, let me tell you how, let me point you in this direction. Let me tell you how this is gonna go. Let me tell you how you need to travel or how to traverse. Matter of fact, won't you come in this building with me? I'm gonna give you all the tools that you need to be successful. And then once you do that, I'm gonna send you back out, and then you just do what you go be successful. Look, first and foremost, I'm excited for y'all. I cannot wait to see how this comes to fruition. I can't wait to see the birth of this new baby, and oh my God, I'm excited for y'all. I'm so excited for y'all, and I am looking forward to, just continuing to interact with y'all, but also if possible, partner with y'all. I think when these types of undertakings are going on, you have to have partnership.
Oh, definitely.
You have to have people that share the vision, that share the vision and see the finish line just like you see the finish line. And to me, partnership is not always a monetary thing. Maybe it's just like that person, just someone to kind of that accountability partner, or that person that be like, hey, you close, keep going, you got this. And I'm looking forward to this, y'all. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, thinking about what's going to happen, and thinking about the positive things that are going to happen with you guys and the people that you guys are going to impact, and the people you guys are going to touch. You guys are going to touch people at their most intimate of levels. You guys are going to meet people right where they are, right where they're at in whatever station of life they're in. And you're going to be the ones that's going to help them get to that better place, not only in their mind, but also in their heart and in their spirit. And then all that stuff translates to, when your mental health is good, or your mental health is good, your physical health is good. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul, healthy spirit. And that's the thing that I see with y'all, healthy, and you guys can take that, because that's not trademarked to nothing. That's not trademarked to nothing. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul, healthy spirit. And the way you guys are doing is going to be so life-changing and so miraculous. Oh my goodness.
Well, look, Frederick, I gotta say,
looking forward.
Look, we talked about us and Freedom Training Center and the Lord and all that good stuff for the last hour, and you spent 5 seconds talking about, what you have going on. So I appreciate the fact that you actually saw the same, you're a man of your word. You just said that people were going to want to be a part of what it is and what we're doing. And you were a first partaker of that. So we really appreciate, giving us the opportunity, this platform, to try and help get the word out, because, again, we're just stewards. We're not masterminds. We're not, these great innovators or and all that. We're just people that really wanted to birth the vision that God has given us, and you're helping us do that by allowing us to be up here, giving us this exposure, giving us this experience, bringing these things out of us. We talked off script about how we were going to do this, and look, Miss Corey,
right.
We were like, I don't know. Like, you mean to tell me you're not going to let me read off the paper? You wouldn't let us do it. You were like, no, no. I just said, if you want to do that, we can do that. But let me pull from you guys so people can see who you are and what you stand for. And I really appreciate the fact that you follow through with your heart, your passion, this whole Trailblazer Radio vision. And look, what is Freedom Training Center? It's a trailblazer. You know, it's a trailblazer.
Yep.
So we really
That's
appreciate you joining the journey and allowing us to join your journey. And I hope that twofold happens. That once Freedom Training Center really becomes the icon of change, right? That Trailblazer is always recognized because it was the first avenue. It was the first trail that we were able to travel down. So man, I can't enough thank you for having us on and
man,
seeing it,
look.
Seeing it as worthy enough to do it. I know you meet a lot of the big people, so we appreciate you coming down here and not being too big to see us small people.
Man, look, I don't consider myself big. We're all equal. We're all on the same level, man. I don't consider myself bigger nor smaller than anybody else. We're all on the same level. We're all trying to get to a particular spot or a point in life to where, maybe we can be able to try to just like not be able to work a 9 to 5 anymore, or just be able to just do something that fills our hearts and fills our spirits with joy and happiness. And like I said, I don't consider myself no bigger or no smaller. We're all on the same level. We're all trying to get to that one spot or another. We're all looking for happiness. We're all looking for joy. We're all looking for satisfaction in whatever form that may be. So I don't consider myself nowhere in any type of stature. I'm just me. So that's not big or small. That's neither big or small. All accolades are good, but God gets the glory out of this, period.
Absolutely. And you know what? I agree with Josh. We thank God for you. I already told you. I can't hardly wait to tell everybody about you. But what I want to know is, are you coming to the event?
Come on. 2nd? Look, let me answer that. I'm going to answer for him. He's going to broadcast it live, okay?
Oh.
You talk about coming.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's what's up.
You know what?
I tell you what, I've got 100 seats, and I want you to have some people in that seat for you. Where you at, Frederick?
I'm in Georgia.
Oh, well,
I'm in
Georgia. Car go.
I mean, I'll put it like this. I will most definitely make it my mission to try to come up to North Carolina to celebrate this with you guys, and to not necessarily solidify something, because this is already solidified, honestly speaking. And you know what? Thank you for reminding me, because you did mention the event. Yes, indeed. And I am going to give you and Joshua that opportunity right now to talk a little bit about this event that's happening on December 2nd. And well, I'll put it like this. You guys have the floor. Go ahead and talk about this event.
Okay. Josh is muted, so I guess that's my turn.
Go ahead.
Well, I tell you what, December 2nd is the pre-launch celebration for the Freedom Training Center. And I tell you what, it's going to be a grand celebration. It's going to be a spirit of excellence in the room. We're going to have dinner for everybody, buffet style, choice of 2 meats. I tell you what, it's going to be nice. And the ballroom is just so elegant. Chandeliers everywhere. We're going to celebrate freedom being birthed, okay? And the event itself is absolutely free. Why wouldn't it be? Freedom is being birthed. However, we accept all donations, give out of your heart. And we're expecting a freedom experience on that night. I do have hotel reservations for those that are traveling far, Frederick. We have hotel reservations at a much cheaper rate. I believe it's $114 a night at the hotel in Washington, and it will be held at the Yankee Ballroom, and it is held inside of the mansion off 264 between Washington and Greenville. It's going to be a glorious time. We're looking for teachers to come and RSVP. We're looking for musicians to come and RSVP. We're looking for dancers. We're looking for coaches. Anybody that want to have a good time, we're looking for you to be there. And guess what else? Oh, what else? We're going to have live entertainment.
Don't keep us waiting now.
Live entertainment. And Frederick is going to interview her. And we also have, she sings. And she's got her band with her. Church out of Fayetteville.
Oh, snap.
And, y'all waiting again. We're going to have martial arts demonstration with the famous Demetrius Oaktree Edwards. He was a 3-time champion back in the day. I tell you, he teaches self-defense now to kids and women, and he's going to be there and demonstrate some of the things that he does. So it's going to be a fantastic night. After the meeting, after the celebration, if we have enough musicians and singers there, we're going to go over and have an afterglow. Yeah, music jam. We're going to have a good time.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot more that we're planning for the event. We've got a couple other people that might be in the house, in the building, sharing and educating. But, obviously, we don't want to give away too much, So we've got
right.
Look, be on the lookout, for the Facebook page. Be on the lookout for us here on TrailBlazerz Radio and platforms that he has. So we're definitely trying to build the momentum. There'll be more details. A lot of these things are TBA. We've got some pretty awesome people, some coaches, some schools that are wanting to back us, and there'll be quite a few people that are joining the cause. And really, I think just being a part of it, like she said, we're opening it and welcoming, inviting educators, leaders, from all backgrounds, anyone that want to make an impact. We want them to be there so that even if they're not in our area, they can still be a part, So check out those platforms. Look out for your newsletters that'll come out on email. There's gonna be a lot. We've only got a month to go, but Miss Corey has been working diligently, at getting these things out. And so anyway, there's gonna be a lot going on, and hopefully over this next month, I really again appreciate you, Mr. Frederick, because you are helping us, really get this out for the first time publicly. We've been talking locally to people and meet and greets and lunch and learns and all that, but now we're trying to bring it out to the community so that people can see it across the platforms and all. So I'm excited.
Man.
I'm excited.
So am I. So just to remind y'all, December 2nd, make sure you're all in the if you are in the Washington, North Carolina area, make sure your face is in the place, because it's gonna be a night, gonna be a grand event, gonna be a special event. It's gonna be basically an announcement event, but more importantly, it's gonna be an event that's gonna be a life-changing event. So if you are in the Washington area, or if you're abroad and you want to participate, make sure your face is in the place, man, because I just want to tell y'all don't want to miss this, because if you miss it, you might not be able to, you may or may not be able to get on board. And just to understand that they are looking for individuals who want to be instructors and teachers and life changers. So make sure you guys hit them up on their various social media platforms and all via their email. Matter of fact, please share the email to where they can reach out to you guys.
Okay. Freedom Training Center 22 at gmail.com. I'm going to say it again. Freedom, FREEDOM, training, TRAINING, center, CENTER, 22 at gmail.com.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Make sure you get in contact with them if you're interested in getting on the ground level of this, because this is going to be life changing and community and far reaching and impacting. I want to reiterate that, because there are not too many organizations that are on the ground now that have a wide swath of vision, like my good friend Auradis and her son and Mr. Joshua have. This is a wide sweeping and wide swath vision, and it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen because she's this lady is in her third trimester, and she's about to go through the process of the contractions and everything. So again, if you guys are wanting to jump on board with this, man, you guys hit her up. Please connect with her via email. Once again, that is Freedom Training Center 22 at gmail.com. Make sure you send an email out. A member of her team will get in contact with you as soon as they can to talk about whatever opportunities that's available, or whatever you can support, or anything you can provide for them. And also, just to let you know, the event on December the 2nd is a free event, y'all. There's no cost to this. However, if you guys want to donate, donations are welcome. And, there's no cap on how much you want to give. There's no cap on that. But as long as you're giving out of your heart, that's what matters. So, and before we conclude this episode, I do want to just first of all, I want to just throw this one quick announcement that's out here, because a good friend of mine really wanted me to put this out here, because this is very important. It was very important to him, and because it's something that's close to me, it's important to me as well. So my brother, Mr. Auradis Ngozi of WBNN Network, is going to be hosting a show on December 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're gonna be talking about, the topic of the show is taking our soul back, saving our nation through our youth. We're going to be talking about a very, very sensitive topic. Going to be talking about the loss of our kids, and loss of our youth through violence, through either nonviolent or violent means. And we're going to really be talking about this subject. We're going to have a lot of people, speaking about their experiences. And this is part of I'm helping my brother Ngozi, because this is something that is close to me, and I want to make sure that this vision of his sees to fruition, because we really need to talk about this. I do want to say that this is part of a NAACP fundraiser campaign in cooperation with Be a Voice Foundation. Now, I'm letting you guys know that no one is making a profit off of this. All the proceeds that go to this fundraiser and this telethon will go directly to the families to pay for the internment of a lost individual, of someone who was passed. In other words, this is going to go to help families who have lost a youth to violence pay for those internment costs. like I said, this is a special. So it's something that's close to my heart because, and I mean, I'm not going to get long-winded about that, but you know, a lot of people who've watched us and listened to us know that I did lose a child through violence, police violence at that. So this is a very special and something that's very close to my heart. So if you guys are able, if you guys are able to tune in on that day, that night, please do so. As I get details, I get further details, I will make those details more available to everybody as we continue to do our broadcast. Also posted on Facebook and Instagram, and also on our other pages as well. So make sure you do that. However, I do want to thank my two wonderful guests tonight, Miss Auradis Corey, Mr. Joshua Worsley, for coming in tonight and blessing us with, number one, their infectious energy and their vision towards helping people have healthy minds, healthy bodies, healthy hearts, healthy souls, healthy spirits. I want to thank them so much for that, and I personally want to wish you guys the very best in all your endeavors. We're gonna be praying for you. We're gonna be rooting for you. We are the TrailBlazerz Radio family is here to support you. And however we need to support you, let's just let us know, and we will do our very best to try to support you. So just know that just know that now that you've entered the house and had a walkthrough, you're no longer just a guest. Mi casa, su casa. So you're welcome anytime. So
Wow.
now that you walk through the house and you had a walkthrough of it, you done got comfy and sat on the couch, and you know, now that I served you guys your first drink and your first plate. Now when you come in, you know where the refrigerator's at, you know where the kitchen's at. Help yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You guys are most welcome. I want, again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, introducing to some and reintroducing to others, my good friend, Miss Auradis Corey, the visionary behind the Freedom Training Center, and her son, Mr. Joshua Worsley, the CEO of the Vision Training Center. Look, make sure you guys follow once their social media pages come up, please. I can't say this enough. Please make sure you follow them on those social media pages, so that way you guys will have your ears and your eyes to the ground on what's going on with them. Because again, these types of things are very much needed in our communities. Because again, you know, we have to be able to heal the whole person, not just parts of a person. And I cannot express that enough. So I want to thank you guys for taking your time to speak with me. I most definitely enjoyed the conversation, and will love to have you guys to come back on, you know, as a follow-up, just to kind of see how things are progressing after the dinner and things of that nature. So I do want to kind of talk to you guys after that and see how you guys are progressing in an update.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to end this episode of TrailBlazerz with me, your host, Frederick Beaty. As I stated earlier, please follow us on all our social media platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also follow us on all streaming platforms, like I mentioned earlier, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Caster FM. Also tune in, and just make sure you just continue to follow us on all the social media platforms. Also follow us on YouTube, guys. We have a YouTube channel. Like our content, subscribe to the channel. We got great content that's coming aboard, man. But as we conclude, I want to leave everyone. I want to leave our viewing and our listening audience with just this thought. And this thought came to me just as I was talking to these two beautiful people. Being whole in mind, body, soul, spirit, heart. That is a difficult process. Just when you think you're whole, something else breaks down. Just when you think you're whole in your mind, your body breaks down. Just when you think you're whole in your spirit, your heart breaks down. Just when you think you're whole in your soul, your mind breaks down. And then so many things could happen in that. And that begins a downward spiral. But wholeness in all those areas that I just mentioned, to me, are dependent upon two things. Number one, a love of God, a love and a very strong knowledge of God and who He is in our lives. Number two, people who are truly interested in watching and wanting you to succeed and not wanting to gain anything else from you. When you have these two things, and one and not to say that one is more important than the other, knowing who God is very, very important. That's the most important step. But having people in your corner to push you, to put you to accountability, but more importantly, to love, guide, and you to where you need to be is just as equally as important. Because without those people, a lot of us will never be able to a lot of us will never be on the path that we walk now. So keep that in mind. So keep that in mind as you guys, just matriculate along this planet, along whatever path you guys are walking on, and you see somebody that's not necessarily whole. Ask questions. Help if you can. You never know that a kind word or a kind gesture would be the one thing that could help that person from breaking. Just a thought of mine, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as I always like to say as I end my programs, number one, love on each other. Number two, be kind to each other. Last but not least, this is a very crazy world that we live in at this day and age and time. So above all, please, 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 please be safe, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful night.
Awesome. See you guys. Thank you.